with your host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com, Roku TV, X, and Amazon TV. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got you for the next 30 minutes and change. I'll tell you what, I was playing some Battle on Mario Kart this weekend, and if you get to a game where you have all the objects on, you got bananas, you got octopuses squirting ink, you got red shells, green shells, packs of red shells, packs of green shells. I'll tell you what, that battle with Mario Kart gets pretty electric. So if you haven't in a while, if you haven't ever, you need to battle with Mario Kart. It's one thing to play Mario Kart. It is one thing to dominate a Grand Prix. It is another to get into the what feels like Mario Kart Octagon and try and save your 5 balloons while knocking out the balloons of others. So if I teach you nothing on the Rome Show but one thing, I hope that one thing is Mario Kart over everything else. It should be the Rome Show 1 over everything else on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, all of the social media sites. 12OZ Sports is the mothership. You can get 12OZ Sports literally everywhere, including their website, 12ozsports.com or youtube.com/12OZ Sports. If you follow either, you'll get all the content. And then finally, if you miss anything, we have a podcast, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts or watch the YouTube shows that are in the archives. A few topics for the people today. We're going to talk a little facial hair. We're going to talk 76ers and Joel Embiid's knee. We have top plays for the people. I got a WTF stat because I found it last night and was like, wow. And then, of course, our daily picks. It's a Monday. It's February 24th, and I am Andrew Romanella, and we want you to join in. If you want to do that, comment on YouTube, comment on X, and let us know your thoughts. Over the weekend, Hal Steinbrenner, the owner of or managing general partner, for the New York Yankees, released the statement that you see on your screen. I'm going to read it for you now. And boy, is this a monumental day for the New York Yankees franchise. In a statement from managing general partner Hal Steinbrenner, and the subject of this is alteration of Yankees facial hair policy. Okay. In recent weeks, I have spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees spanning several eras to elicit their perspectives on our longstanding facial hair and grooming policy, and I appreciate their earnest and varied feedback. These most recent conversations are an extension of ongoing internal dialogue that dates back several years. Ultimately, the final decision rests with me, and after great consideration, we will be amending our expectations to allow our players and uniform personnel to have well-groomed beards moving forward. It is the appropriate time to move beyond the familiar comfort of our former policy. So the New York Yankees, who have long-standing been a franchise that wanted every single player and on-field personnel to be of clean-cut facial hair variety, minus the mustache. The mustache was allowed throughout the history of time, have finally changed their nearly 50-year or plus policy on facial hair. And this might not seem like a big deal. You might be sitting there having not heard this or not really caring about this or not knowing this for that matter and say, why is facial hair such a big deal? How is it that there's a story on the fact that a franchise is allowing people to grow beards? And that's because they never did. And that's because there is a perception that possibly players didn't want to play for the Yankees, or players didn't want to deal with the facial hair policy of being a New York Yankee. And you've seen it across the board. How many guys get signed with the Yankees that had facial hair? Johnny Damon, in my mind, being the most apparent one. Johnny Damon with the Boston Red Sox looked like that guy, the caveman from the Geico commercials. In 04 and 07, when he was helping lead the Red Sox to championships, Johnny Damon looked like the caveman from the Geico commercial. And then he comes over to the New York Yankees and he's got to shave it all. Hair's got to be short. He's completely clean cut on the face. He looked completely different, played completely different. And this is not just one player. This is most likely over the course of time, okay? And as generations change, the way you look at professionalism changes. So when George Steinbrenner was the CEO and owner of the New York Yankees, that time period was clean cut, clean shaved is the way to look professional and like the all-American man, okay? And maybe that was the case 40, 50 years ago. But over the last 15 to 20 years, the facial hair, be yourself, wear whatever you want to wear, whatever color arm guard, shin guard, batting gloves you want to wear, play with your swag. That's been a thing. That's how we've tried to connect with the younger generation. But not with the Yankees. Not in the Bronx. Nope, it's the Yankee way. The Yankee way is you don't have facial hair. Well, that's a problem for players that play their most confident when they have facial hair. And now, when you think about the importance of a player's confidence, especially in a time when we talk so much about the mental, we hear so much about the mental. We have players now take a break from the game because of their mental, which is probably the most healthy thing. But because that is so apparent, you probably start to hear more from players about how they don't like the way they look without facial hair. And in this example, Devin Williams was the guy that was really the last straw. Devin Williams, great reliever, signs with the Yankees, bearded dude. From what I've understood, I believe Jeff Passan of the MLB Network mentioned this, that Devin Williams has not thrown a pitch in Major League Baseball without facial hair. He has only had a beard for the entirety of his career in Major League Baseball. And when push came to shove and he had to shave his face, he literally shaved his face and looked at it and said, I can't do this. Because it's a confidence thing. Anyone that thinks this is asinine or doesn't think this is a real thing doesn't have a understanding or a care, for that matter, of people's personal confidence. What's the adage? Look good, you feel good, you play good, right? Well, if I shaved my beard right now, fully, nothing, gone, and I came on this show tomorrow morning, I promise you I'd be acting differently. I would be a different person. I am not the same human being with hair one way or the other. Notice I've never not worn a headband when broadcasting this show. There are things that people do that are keep them in their most confident. And sometimes it's too comfortable and you need to get outside your comfort zone. That's a fact too. And that's what Hal Steinbrenner's doing. He's realizing that you no longer need to be a Yankee to make the most amount of money. You don't have to go to Alabama to make the most amount of money in college football. You don't have to play at Duke to make the most amount of money or get the most amount of press that you need to in college basketball. You don't need to go anywhere. In 2025, you can be great everywhere and make the amount of money that you want to make that was the same as in 1980, 1990, going, I need to go play for the Yankees or the Dodgers or Duke or UCLA because those were the places that had money. Those were the places that made you great. Now, I can be the best quarterback in the league in Kansas City, and not just because my team's good. I can also make the exact amount of money I would make if I'm the quarterback of the New York Football Giants. It doesn't matter where you are. So if it doesn't matter anymore that I need to play for the Yankees to win, It's actually the contrary. In the past 15 to 20 years, they're not the organization that wins. They're not the organization you need to go to have the best chance. They might be competitive every year. They might have a chance for the postseason every year. But it's not a need to go play in the Bronx anymore. It's not a need to put the Yankee pinstripes on anymore. And Hal Steinbrenner understood that. And this was the smartest decision he has ever made as general managing partner of the New York Yankees. And I truly do believe in the next 5 to 7 years, you'll see this as a positive for this organization. There are going to be players that I bet come out and say, yeah, for a few years ago, I chose not to go be a New York Yankee because I didn't want to cut my facial hair. Or they're going to be players in a few years from now being like, hell yeah, I'll go play for the Yankees now. I can grow my beard. I can look as fire as the guy that I listen to every morning at 7 a.m. on 12-Ounce Sports on the Rome Show. Hell yeah, I'll go play for the Yankees. So I think that was a colossal decision for the organization. And who knows? Maybe they get over this hump with Aaron Judge and the boys because maybe a bunch of dudes on their roster now have always wanted a beard. Garrett Cole, first guy off the grill. Garrett Cole, Houston Astros, facial hair, long hair, elite. Garrett Cole, shaved, shorter hair, New York Yankees, pretty elite. Really, really good, I think. Can't field his position, though, in the postseason. So I'm just saying, man, we'll see what comes out into fruition long term. Andrew Romanella, The Rome Show, 12ozsports.com, YouTube, Roku, Amazon, X. We got some write-ins. Kai the goalie. Johnny Damon crashing right out. He's right about that. And then he said, yeah, bro, got the Cobra Kai on. That's right. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. I got this one. Junk headbands, by the way, are elite. I got a bunch of junk headbands. Kai the goalie. Bunch of different colors. You probably see me wear them on the show. Centenary University Baseball is currently working their way through a potential junk headband buy and sponsorship, as we love here at the Rome Show, 12-Ounce Sports, and Centenary University Baseball. All right, we continue on, although it's hard for me to mention Centenary Baseball right now. We had a tough weekend, people. If you're following along at home, the Clones opened up over the weekend against Clarkson University, and on the scoreboard, we did not bode well. All right, coming away with 0 victories in 3 games. Unfortunately, it does not define our team. We're definitely better than this, but we must go back to the drawing board. Like all great teams, okay? Like all great teams, all great athletes, all great players of any sport, great business people, great CEOs. You don't know how good you are until you get punched in the face. You never know how good you are in sports or in life until you get the adversity punch in the face. And so all great teams, players, and humans are defined by their response to the negative, their response to adversity. And so the Clones got punched in the face this weekend hard, and we got to respond. And we'll find out how great our team is, much like a lot of you are finding out how great your teams are when they handle the adversity in their season. The 76ers have some adversity, and that's with their best player, Joel Embiid. And for a long time, Embiid's been dealing with knee issues. And I think we've all known that. We've all watched it, of course, across the course of his career. Embiid's been in the league for 11 years, but has only played 9 years of basketball because the first 2 seasons of Joel Embiid's career, he spent sitting out because of injury concern. So his rookie year was technically 3 years after he was drafted. On the screen, and it might be a little bit small in print, so we'll talk you through some of this as well. But Joel Embiid's stats are on the screen. And to be honest with you, the stat numbers are part of the reason why they're on the screen. But the more important numbers that we're looking at here are the games played. Okay, so Joel Embiid, first and foremost, has nearly $250 million, $248.1 million left over the next 4 years of his contract. He'll make $55 million next season, $59.5 million the year after that. In 27-28, he'll make $64.3 million. And in 28-29, he'll make $69.1 million. Now, that's not including the money that Joel Embiid has already made. But if you look at the stat sheet on our screen, here are some numbers that stick out, including the 2 seasons Joel Embiid missed to start his career, there were 902 total games possible for him to play in. In that 902 total games he could have played in, Joel Embiid only played in 452. That is 51% of the possible games he missed. So he missed 51% of the games that he possibly could have played in his first 11 years in the league. If you remove the first 2 seasons of Joel Embiid in Philly, where he didn't actually put on a uniform, that was 738 total games he could have played. 452 he did play, missing 40% of games for the 76ers in the last 9 years. There's a real concern with Joel Embiid, with his knee, and what is going to go on with the 76ers. This is one of those scenarios where if you're the 76ers, you maybe were not wrong for drafting Joel Embiid, clearly based on how good he is when healthy. But there is a serious problem here and a serious void for the next 5 to 10 years in your organization if you cannot get him through this, if you can't get him to full health. If Joel Embiid's career for the next 5 years or 4 years of that contract is going to be playing in 50% of your team's games, is it worth the money? Is it really worth everything you're going to go through? And I don't know what you do if you say it's not worth it. I don't know what the decision is for the 76ers, but you cannot have a guy miss 51% of his games. In his career, he was a first-round draft pick, 3rd overall in the 2014 NBA draft. Some side trivia for the people, okay? Here we go. Who was also drafted in that draft that is a champion in the NBA and an MVP, most valuable player, 2-time over in the NBA? Can you tell me? In that same draft, Nikola Jokic was drafted in the 2nd round, 41st pick, 38 spots after Joel Embiid, looking pretty good for the Denver Nuggets long term. That pick in the 2nd round. That just goes to show you as well. Doesn't matter what sport or what draft we're talking about here, okay? You can find great players in any round. Half of it is you doing the work to find the player, and the other half is you having a department that can develop players. If players can't get better, you cannot get better, because no matter how great a player is when they enter the league, they have to improve if they want to stay at the top of their game. That's just a fact. My high school English teacher, shout out to Mr. Martin, used to say cliches are cliches for a reason, because they are true. So the better you develop players, the better your organization is. And I'm not saying the 76ers look stupid for not drafting Nikola Jokic. No, because the entire NBA looks stupid for doing that. I'm just saying the 76ers, as you got deeper into this thing, after sitting him out the first 2 years of his career, should probably have thought before loading up the Brinks truck and saying, let's give a lot of money to this guy that will not play in 50% of our games over the course of 5 years, maybe even more. That's not a good business decision. And so the process that started 11 years ago has officially never once resulted in a season that it should have. And so you have to think to yourself, was it worth it? Is it worth it? And what goes on moving forward? The 76ers have a lot of decisions to make. I don't have many decisions to make. It's pretty easy. I got to go to a commercial break, but then we come back with the top plays of the weekend. I have 5 for you here on the Rome Show, so you got to stay with us on 12OZ Sports. It's Andrew Romanella. It's 12-ounce sports. It's Kai the goalie. It's hopeful other write-ins. And hey, it's all of us on the Rome Show. Back after this.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Yeah. It's the Rome Show. 12ouncesports.com. Roku, Amazon, X. All the things. Just follow us. It's so easy. So many places to follow. We've been talking Yankees facial hair policy changes. We've been talking Joel Embiid's knee. I watched some really good basketball last night, man. Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. That was a fun game against the, I think they played OKC or Cleveland. I can never remember. It was good, though. I watched OKC versus Minnesota, and I think I watched Memphis versus Cleveland. Both were so good. Some top 4 teams in the league. And one thing I noticed about basketball, and I said this on the shows last week when we were talking about the All-Star game and the 4 nations and the difference between the two, it really comes down to the players. Like, it's wild how much more I enjoy an NBA game when I get like a block and then I'm going down the floor and then a play. It's just like, or I get legitimately good defense, you know? So I think you're going to notice something about the top plays we got going on today, especially in the NBA, because, well, at least one of them starts with defense. But I think that's what draws me, at least, to the game of basketball. It's like, I need to see 90 feet of the floor. You know, I need to see guys going up. I don't need fouls so hard that we're fighting each other, but I also don't want easy lay-ins because we don't want the contact, or we're so poor at backside reading a defense that it's an easy lane when a backside cutter is on the baseline. Like, I don't want any of that. I want a guy working his way, bodying up somebody. He's trying to back him down, kick the ball down low, swing pass to the corner, 3, guy flies out, barely misses the block. He misses, rebound, bodies are all around, right? Maybe they kick it back, whatever. I just want it. I want ball movement. I want physicality. I want it all. I don't just want deep threes or running up the floor and hit a 3. And I don't think that happens, to be honest with you, all the time. But I do think that there is a definite disconnect between maybe 7 to 8 teams in this league and everyone else. You know, it's usually the teams that are fighting for a championship tend to be really good at defense. It's funny how that works, but that's not why we're here. We are here for the top plays. So we want to go ahead and do that. So let's get to our top plays of the weekend. Now, these are top plays chosen by me. Let's start with number 5.
Number 5.
This is Halliburton Toppin. Defensive play. You go alley-oop Harlem Globetrotters style for this one. Beautiful job by the Indiana Pacers. I just really found this one fun because, yep, it went from defense to offense. But if you've ever spent time watching the Harlem Globetrotters, that was exactly what it looks like. So play number 5, Halliburton to top in defense to offense. Let's stay in the NBA. 4.
Numero cuatro.
Yeah, we're going to stay right here. Watch Devin Booker far side of this thing. Oh, my gosh. The and one off the contact behind the basket, people. Behind the basket. Can we watch that one more time? Devin Booker, contact, fadeaway, and one. Watch where he ends up here. Freeze it. Oh, my God. I can't do that even in a horse when I'm trying to. Devin Booker's that dude. You might miss him because he's in Phoenix. Spend some time watching him. He's elite. That's play number 4. Let's continue on to the ice.
3.
Wait.
Marco Rossi, elite name. Don't watch your screen. Don't watch your screen. I don't have it. Marco Rossi. Okay, number 2. Here we go.
Number 2.
Here we go. The uploading of the videos. That's okay. 4 plays is okay. It's better than 0. Let's go with
Number 1.
it's that guy, Alexander Ovechkin. Watch this. Goal number 1. He's got 3 on the night. Sniping. Okay. Now he's only 14 away from Wayne Gretzky. 15, excuse me, as the ticker counts down. That's why he is so good. But no, wait, he's not done. Same game. Power play. Ovechkin. Far side. Circle. Stop. What he's done his entire career. He is just too good. Watch this puck placement to bring himself 14 away from Gretzky. My gosh, I don't know if anyone else in the league can do that. And then defense to offense. Seal the deal, Alexander. Empty netter. Bang. His 7th empty netter of the year. Alexander Ovechkin is now 13 goals away from Wayne Gretzky's all-time number of 882. Alexander Ovechkin is doing something really, really cool. And here's the fun part, ladies and gentlemen, okay? He broke his fibula this year. Yeah. He missed 5 weeks with a broken fibula, and he is still trending to break this record. And I got some crazy WTF stats for you on Alexander Ovechkin before we get ourselves into our picks and we end the show. Check this out, okay? Alexander Ovechkin has been in the league since the 2005-2010 season. During the decade of 2005 to 2010, or in theory 2000 to 2010, Alexander Ovechkin scored 301 goals. During the decade of 2010 to 2020, Alexander Ovechkin scored 381 goals. Okay. By the way, Gretzky has 894, Ovi 882 currently, 12 away. My fault. A lot of numbers on this page. But during the 2020 to 2025 5-year span in this decade, Alexander Ovechkin has now scored 200 goals for his total of 882, which means Alexander Ovechkin is the only player in NHL history to record 200 plus goals in 3 separate decades. Think about that feat. 200 plus goals in 3 separate decades, and in 2 of those decades, he's only played 5 years. That is unbelievable. And in one of those decades, he's the oldest he's ever been in his career. I think he plays for 2 more years. I think he goes well above the 900 number in terms of the amount of pucks he puts into the net. But do not take for granted whatever time you have left watching Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby, okay? Because those 2 dudes are as generational gets. What you got when you got Wayne Gretzky, what you got when you got Michael Jordan, what you get when you get LeBron James or any of these other super-de-duper-de superstars, that's what you get in Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. And the same rules have always applied with the National Hockey League. That love is never going to be spread across the sports world as much as it should, or as much as a baseball player, a football player, or a hockey player will get love. But what you're watching with Alexander Ovechkin, from a goal scoring standpoint, what you've watched for the course of his career from a goal scoring standpoint. What you've seen from Sidney Crosby from the course of his career, both in the National Hockey League and in international play, it is generational. And you cannot take it for granted. And we are on the 18th hole, people. We are teeing off on the 18th hole of two careers of two of the greatest players we will ever witness. So saddle in and enjoy it. Take some time to watch Alexander Ovechkin do what he's doing at like 40 years old. Take some time to find the Penguins game, regardless of their goodness or badness status, and check out Sidney Crosby, because these two are two of, if not the greatest hockey players I've ever witnessed in my time on this earth. And I don't want people to miss that. I don't want people to miss as well the bananas that I've been picking, because I would like to toot my own horn and say I've been pretty elite.
Ba 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 na na ba 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 na na.
All right. Here's the deal. Okay. Over the weekend, we took the Ducks at plus 1.5. I thought it was a pretty good pick. Well, they won 3-2 in overtime. So I took them at the 1.5 because they're the best in the National Hockey League against the spread. They also won the game and really knocked it home for me. However, the New York Knickerbockers were bad. They were bad. They lost like 143 to 108. I took them at plus 7.5. So Cleveland came in to make a statement. So I was 1-1 over the weekend. The record is now 57-48. Okay. Tonight, we got the Pistons +1 against the Clippers. Both teams are coming off back-to-backs. The Clippers played terribly, and the Pistons, they played really well. Kate Cunningham's a dude, okay? And I just think that the Clippers on the road in Detroit, favored by 1. I don't like it. All right. So give me the Pistons at the +1. And then finally, I got the Bulls against the aforementioned, with the Joel Embiid situation, 76ers. They've lost like 7 straight. They're 10 games under 500, the 76ers, that is. And they are second worst in the league against the spread. They only cover their spread 35% of the time. That spread has them as a 3-point favorite against the Chicago Bulls tonight. The Bulls, however, cover nearly 45.5% of the time. So because the 76ers are playing so poor and the spread numbers, I'm going to take the Bulls at the +3. And then, like I said earlier, I will take the Pistons at the +1. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the Rome Show here on 12 OZ Sports. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Kai the goalie for writing in. We appreciate that every single week. Thank you, the listener. We're back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Until then, have an electric day, and peace.
Thank you for listening.